Hey guys, today I decided to do a video on something that I would classify myself as an expert in. A bit of a weird video, but I know a few people have been asking me, so I thought I'd get it out of the way. I've got my handy little notes, and this is literally only like half of it, so this is maybe going to have to be a two-parter. I've got my Blossom in the background having a little snooze. So today's video is about Martyn and how we met, and starting to cover all of the bases of that. Yes. So where to start? Okay. First of all, we first met. I used to work in a health and beauty store. In this, I wouldn't say it's a precinct. It's like a town, I guess, in a town centre. And I used to work in a little shop that was here. And there's this walkway, and he used to work like here in a different shop. So it's like, it's hard to explain. I used to work here, and he worked there on the other side. So we are pretty much like opposite, but over to the side. Doesn't matter. Too much detail here. So I used to work there. At the end of the day, we used to have to bag up all the newspapers and write down what we had and how many and all of this sort of stuff. It doesn't really matter. And then we used to have to take them over to his shop and put them out the back of his, so that the men would come and collect it and take it away. He doesn't report any of this story, so he'll deny it. There's this man over there who he always used to wind me up, and he used to say these like proper, I don't know, weird jokes I never used to understand. And then one day this man was holding there was like a fire door, and you had to hold it open, otherwise you get locked outside. But you had to walk away from the door and go around a corner and open this box and put the papers in there, so the person who would let you out would have to hold the door for you. So then one day, the man who was holding the door, lovely man, who always used to make jokes at me and things like that, decided that he wasn't going to hold the door and he was going to lock me outside. Which later on found out it was Martyn. So brilliant. Great start there. Anyway, so that was how we first met. The man from that shop, he switched stores, and then the company he was working for they got made redundant. One of his friends who also worked at that store that he worked in came to work in my health and beauty store, and she told him that there was obviously a free job going, so he came and applied for the job and got it. And one of my first memories of like the first day that I ever worked with him, he came over to me with this, like, I don't know, say if he's holding this, he's like, oh, where does this go? Oh, do you know where this goes? So I just looked at him, I was like, yes, and walked up the stairs away from him, off the shop floor, up the stairs, and he just stood there like, oh, maybe she's coming back. And then I didn't come back because I was going on my break, and I was like half hour, but I came back downstairs and he was still standing there. I think I might have come down earlier to get some food, but anyway, so he just stood there, and I walked past him still laughing, so I thought it was hilarious. That's revenge right there. It's payback for him shutting me out of the fire exit. So I don't really care. But that's life, isn't it? As a little fun fact, the lady that came to work in my store and told Martyn that there was a job in my store, I've known her since I was a baby. It's so strange. I used to call her Bad Girls Lady, but because she looks like that woman that was in Bad Girls, and now she's in a soap that's on TV. So informative. The one with Phil Mitchell in it. That soap. she was going out with him or something. Heather's best friend. I'm just so informed about soaps and stuff, but that's who she looks like. So when he came to work in my store, well, it's not my store anymore, I don't work there, but when he came and worked in that store with me, we after I was mean to him, eventually, it must have been like months after, must have been about months, I'd say months or weeks, I don't know, but he'd been there for a while, and then I started talking to him because he worked during the week and I only worked Fridays and the weekends. So after a while we started talking to each other, and we were exchanging music and talking. After that, after we were talking to each other about random things, I don't know, I guess we just started getting closer and closer. We would like give each other music to listen to. Wrote down one of the first things that we did. We wrote down on like these, like it was kitchen room I think, and we wrote down like all of our favourite songs, or just a list of songs that we thought were good, and then we just exchanged them and listened to each other's music. And I was so surprised because he's older than me, like 6 years. So I was thinking like, oh, watch, we're gonna get some proper old music here. And then I was quite surprised to find out that he listens to the same sort of music as me. I don't know, I was just really shocked. Not what I expected. Yeah, I was just completely and utterly shocked that somebody actually had the same sort of music as me, coming from a school where everyone listens to. At the time when we really started getting close, he had a girlfriend and I had a boyfriend. I used to torment him really badly, like all the time. He had this girlfriend, and I don't know what her name is, but I used to call her Spanish Girl, and he was always like, her name's not Spanish Girl. He used to get really stroppy about it, but what can you do? Wind up. Yeah, I just used to all the time torment him. I'd find one thing or another, because we used to we both used to work the late night, so we both he'd pick one person, which just always used to be me, and we'd go upstairs and count the money and everything like that together. So anyway, so we used to cash up together, and he had this girlfriend, and one obviously very sad, heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching, I don't know, really sad day, pull on your heartstrings. He came in and he told me that they were having a bit of a rough period, and I was like, gosh, it's not worth it to break up with her. And it went on for months. Months afterwards. I was like, do you know what, just break up with her. Okay, she's not worth it, she's obviously playing with you. He was like phoning, it was a long distance relationship, he was like phoning her, and she'd like ignore the phone calls and things like this, or she'd be like all the time, oh, I've really got to go. So you knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. I told him to break up with her, cut it off now before it goes any further. And did he listen to me? No. So anyway, eventually, like, I don't know how long after, they broke up, and I was like, do you know what, pat on the back, you'll be fine, there'll be somebody else out there, like, don't worry about it, I'm sure someone better will come along, blatantly not worth it, she's going to treat you like that. And then a short while after my birthday, it must have been about 2-3 days, my boyfriend at the time and I broke up. A lot of sad times in this. We broke up, and then Martyn did the same to me, and he was like, you'll find someone better, and like, your life will work out, don't worry about it. Obviously not worth it if you've broken up, like, that's life, isn't it? The same as I did to him when they broke up. So then we were going for coffee, like all this time we're like getting closer, so we started going for coffee, and then every time we had a day off we'd phone each other up like, oh hey, when's your day off, or I checked the rotor and this is your day off, so do you want to meet up? and then we'd meet up and have coffee. Interesting fact, we went to a popular coffee restaurant near where we it's a coffee shop near where we used to work, and I had a hot chocolate and I was like messing around with the spoon, because they had plastic spoons. I was like bending it against the mug, and the spoon just like flipped up out, hot chocolate all over the wall. We're like slyly trying to clean it off, like, oh, never happened, never happened. The wall was still stained to today, because we just thought, we were like, oh no, and just quickly left the shop. Didn't tell anyone what had happened. So they sort of stuck these like canvases on top of it, but you can still see the stain. Leaving my mark. But anyway, a lot of this like when we started getting closer, I used to get the bus home because I couldn't actually drive at the time, so I used to get the bus because I live in a different area to where I used to work. Anyway, so yeah, I used to get the bus home, and we talk all the way to where he got off, because he used to live in that area. I used to get off the bus and I'd carry on, and we'd like talk until he got off the bus, and then we started going for coffee, and because we used to catch up together, we used to like talk the whole time we were catching up. So a lot of time of talking and getting to know each other. It was like little counselling sessions, really. Just like speak the whole time about what's going on in life and what we both thought we could do to help each other and things like that. Going back to museum times, coffee in museums, we used to phone each other up on our day off, and we'd always organise to go to a different museum. I don't really think it mattered what museum we would go to. I think it was just a case of go out into London, even shopping. We used to go shopping, coffee shops, go and have like lunch together, museums where we could like spend most of the day together. So a lot of the time we were just going to just random museums that we'd find. Be like, oh, I found this new museum, let's go there. And then like either one of us would be like, oh yeah, okay, let's go. So then that started to happen. I mean, we were literally just finding things to do. On one occasion, Martyn's best friend was around his house, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to go to the toilet before I like drive. Oh, I passed my driving test like before we started going to the museums, I think. So we were like, yeah, before we started going to the museums, because I'd park at his house and we get the train, and then I'd go home afterwards. So one of his friends was like there, so I was like, oh, I'm just going to go and use the toilet, so I don't have to, like, I'm not bursting for a wee when I get home. So I'm like, go upstairs, and his best friend is so loud. It was like, oh, the most embarrassing thing ever, because his best friend is really loud, and I could hear everything that they were saying downstairs, and I was like, oh my god. We'll talk about socially awkward times later on as well with his parents, first meetings, but that's not going to be in this video. So